Clan, and welcome to Worth It or Not. And in this installment of Worth It or Not, I'm going to answer the simple question: is South Park: The Stick of Truth worth it or not? Let's find it, and let's dive right into this right now. Okay, so for those who don't know what Worth It or Not is, let me do a quick clarification. Worth It or Not is not really your typical review show. I am just going to tell you what I enjoyed about the game, what I didn't enjoy about the game, what I think the improvements could have been, and then I'm going to answer, did I think it was worth it playing for me, worth my money, and more importantly, worth my time. I'm not going to give it a score, I'm just going to tell you the answer, at least from my opinion. So firstly, we got to talk about South Park. I'm not going to hide any secrets, I was a South Park fan. I still am to an extent. I haven't watched any new South Park in quite some time actually. The last time I watched South Park was many years ago actually, if memory serves me. I think I stopped not that long after Imagination Land and maybe the Coon Trilogy. It's hard to tell. I honestly can't remember, but I do dive into it every now and then, check it out, see if it's improved in any way, shape or form. But it was a funny show. I enjoyed it as a kid, and I wasn't supposed to watch it as a kid, but I did. I enjoyed it, and I had fun with it. So, I've played one other South Park game, that was the N64. I can't remember the name of it, but it was okay. It wasn't fantastic. I never completed it. But when I heard about Stick of Truth, I was like, huh, a South Park game that is also an RPG. This could be interesting. So I kept my eye on it, and with everything that happened with it, THQ going on, and eventually getting published, I was like, oh, that's going to be... But also, one little thing was going on in my mind. What the fuck are they going to get away with? Because it's no secret that video games are treated differently than TV, and South Park can get away with a lot of shit on TV. I didn't know how much they'd get away with on video games, so that was very interesting. And from the footage that I saw, I was like, oh yeah, this is going somewhere. This is going somewhere. And eventually it did come out, and it came out, and I absolutely fucking loved it. Oops, sorry, not my mic. I absolutely fucking loved the game. I'm going to admit it right now. I did a full live stream of my entire playthrough of the game. Part 1 and Part 2 I will link in the description if you want to go and check it out. It's on twitch.tv/ScottishWarrior92. It's not going to be coming up on YouTube, sadly, because I really can't risk it, and plus there are too many LPs of that game out there already, so I don't think mine would add anything to it. So, I absolutely love the playthrough. If you watch the playthrough, you know I had fun with it. And really, firstly, I'll comment on the story. The story is your typical South Park story. You are the new kid in town, and the kids of South Park are basically LARPing. It's humans versus elves, and it's always that stickers. And it's a mixture of it's a ridiculous story. You're basically trying to figure out a little bit about your past, and then figure out what the hell is going on in this town, to the point in which we have aliens, zombie Nazis, and government conspiracy and all that jazz. And it's your typical South Park. It feels like a season of South Park, not just an episode. It actually feels like a season of South Park, or at least 3 episodes, because the game takes place over 3 individual days. So it's either three episodes or a season, but it's hard to tell what it feels like. But I really did feel like I was in that game. You got to create your own South Park character, restricted to males, sadly. Would have maybe been interesting to see a female one, but the amount of outfits and stuff that you have in the game, you could see your character's female either way. But I think it was absolutely great, and I had a fun. It's your typical South Park story, and if you like South Park stories, you'll like this story. It's filled with raunchy humour, offensive language, you name it, it's in there. It's South Park. What else do you expect? You have anal probing, Nazi zombies, crazy motherfuckers who get naked, you've got nudity, you've got fucking Mr. Slave shoving people up his ass, you've got Jesus Christ with machine guns, you've got Mr. Hanky, you've got the shitty walk. You've got so many stuff in that game that would offend so many people just like South Park, and I loved every minute of it. The story is not fantastic, it's not up there with like Last of Us or Mass Effect, but it's a South Park story written by the creators of Matt Stone and the other guy whose name I can't remember. And it's done absolutely fantastically, and they definitely kept true to the series. It definitely feels like a South Park game. It doesn't feel like something that was tossed on there. I gotta say, absolutely fantastic story for South Park at least. Not a great story, but fantastic for South Park at least. Now we move on to gameplay. Gameplay is your standard. It's very much turn-based JRPG gameplay with buffs and abilities. You'll have one party member who has that's Butters, Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny and Jimmy. Each one having different strengths and different weaknesses, and each having own abilities that will help you throughout the game. And you as your character will get to play as either a mage, thief, warrior, or Jew. I played as a thief. That was not intended, by the way. But yeah, there's a Jew class, which apparently everyone fucking played as. I played as a thief, and it was absolutely fantastic, and I'm probably going to go play again. It's so... I'm going to say this right, the game felt awesome. The gameplay felt very, very good. Very JRPGs. I will say this right now, I would recommend that if you're going to play this, bump it up to Master difficulty. I heard that the normal difficulty is extremely easy, so I bumped up to Master, and while it was challenging, it still was a little bit easier. I died quite a few times, but mostly to the late game. Early game I didn't die once, and then it wasn't until later game when I took on boss battles such as Al Gore. Yes, you fight Al Gore in this, and Man Bear Pig. And it wasn't until I got to that point in which I started to feel a bit more challenged, but even after I beat them, everything else was like done like that. Still fun, still enjoyable. The gameplay is very well done. There aren't really few hiccups in the gameplay. It works, it does the job right. It's standard JRPG. You've got abilities, you've got items to use to help buff and debuff your enemies. You also have your standard attacks, and each class has different status. The thief, for example, has backstab, which will add status debuffs to your own called bleeding, which will take away a little bits of their health. You've also got burning, freezing, which will slow down, and also my personal favourite, gross out damage, in which you make your enemies throw up to lose health. It's fucking hilarious, and the thing I liked about it the most was the aesthetic of the combat. In the game, you're basically LARPing in the game, but you're using everyday items to LARP. Like you're using fucking baseball bats as weapons, hammers, fucking a hubcap as a chakram. You get a chakram in this game. And by the end of the game, my character basically was Xena with red hair. I loved it. It was awesome. You get hubcap as your chakram. Everyday items used as weapons, and also status and healing potions. Healing potions are cupcakes, cheesy puffs, all the South Park staples. Speed upgrades are coffee. PowerPoint things are like fizzy juice and Red Balls, which is basically Red Bull. Absolutely love the way they did it. They didn't just like toss potions and all, they just used everyday items around the South Park world to add to the gameplay, and it worked out exceptionally well. You also get different abilities throughout the game, such as the ability to teleport with the anal probe, ability to shrink and make yourself big again, commanding your buddies, and also your bow and arrow and ranged weapon attacks. And I absolutely love that. There are other aspects of the gameplay as well, including the little Facebook interactive status thing, which is basically Facebook, and friends are used as a commodity in that way to get you perks as you level up, which will upgrade your abilities, which you're capped at level 15, which I'm like, could you have not maybe bumped up a little bit higher? But I get why they did that. And also they added other little things here, like including collectibles. There's Pokemon! Yep, there's Pokemon in this game, and you have to collect them. You don't get a good thing. Also, you don't get anything good by collecting them all, but it was just fun collecting them all. And I love that little aesthetic to it. They put so many references to the, and not just to in the story or the aesthetic or the graphics, but so many references to the gameplay, to other little stuff in South Park, which I absolutely love what they did at that. Absolutely fantastic. Now the graphics of the game, they're not fantastic. They are South Park. The game looks, feels, smells, breathes as South Park. It is so well integrated. It doesn't feel like a game that was just with the South Park slashed on it. They went painstaking efforts to make this graphical game look like South Park. So it isn't the greatest graphics, but it looks like South Park. And that is what they had today right. It looks perfect. It perfectly represents South Park with its aesthetic, and it's absolutely glorious for that, and I give them major props for that. They could have done something to bump up the graphics and all that, but here's the thing, due to the fact that they used such slow graphics for the game, it works really well for it. It's capped at like 30, maybe 6, I think it's like 30 frames per second, but that makes sense for South Park. And also as is, it's an 8 gig install, because most games massive install is due to their graphics. This is an 8 gig install. Holy fuck, that's small. Like, this game's graphics may not be the greatest in the world, but they suit the game exceptionally well, and they look great. If you're looking for a gorgeous looking game, If you don't like the South Park aesthetic, you're not going to like that. I'm going to say that right now. It is very much South Park through and through. Okay? Now we'll just get to the major point of the game. My enjoyment. If you can't tell, I enjoyed this game immensely. I had so much fun playing this game with the amount of references that went from past South Park episodes to present South Park episodes. I don't know. I didn't get one or two of them because I was like, well, that must have been an episode I've not seen. But it did it so well, and I had so much fun. It was kind of like a little bit of a nostalgia trip, but at the same time, I didn't just enjoy it because it was South Park. I enjoyed it because it was a good game. It was quite surprising actually. I expected this to be an okay game, but it works so well. Obsidian did a fantastic job to basically create a good South Park game. This is one of the best licensed games I've played in a long ass time. This is definitely up there with the licensed games such as the Batman Arkham series. Batman Arkham is still my greatest licensed game, top list. The entire series is up the top there with the greatest licensed games ever made, but South Park is definitely in that category as well because it's such a great game. And with all of this is a good sign in my opinion because it means developers are taking the time with these licensed games, and it's a great thing getting the actual creators of the game involved in it, getting them everything involved in it, and it works out so fucking well, and you can tell that these people enjoyed working on this game, and I love them for that. Obsidian did a fantastic job. They definitely do. So far, Obsidian haven't let me down with any games. While their other games have been buggy, South Park does have a couple of bugs, but mostly on the PC version when you alt-tab too many times. If you're recording, for example, the music cuts out, or the characters become invisible, that kind of thing. Minor glitches here or there, but nothing big. But definitely well done. And Obsidian, I've got to give them a major point. I had so much fun with this game. It was absolutely great for that. However, I'm going to say this right now. If you don't like South Park and you find South Park the most if you don't like gross out humor, if you don't like toilet humor, if you don't like offensive style comedy, do not go anywhere near this game. It's not worth it. I'm saying that right now. If you don't like South Park, you're not going to like this game. While it does have a good game in there, the South Park aspect is the major aspect of this game and major feature. You can't go into this game and think, oh, if I go into the game I don't need to worry about the South Park humor. You're going to have to worry about the South Park humor because it's in there. You cannot get into this game and expect it not to be gross out humor and offensive language. It's South Park. What else do you expect? And I really do have to emphasize that because if you don't like South Park, you're not going to like this game. I'll say that right now. I like South Park and I love this game. And it's one of this is a good game in my opinion, not because even if you took out the South Park license, it'd still be a good game, but with the South Park license on it and the South Park aesthetic, it works out exceptionally well, and I gotta give them major props for that. Overall, what can I say except for this? In my honest opinion, is South Park worth it? For a South Park fan, and for South Park fans, hell fucking yes. And even if you have never seen South Park a day in your life and you like gross out humor and offensive language and stuff that most people wouldn't touch with a 10-foot barge pole, I'd say you'd still enjoy this game. However, I'm going to say this right now, if you aren't into the gross out humor, offensive nature, and basically the South Park style of comedy, which is everything's off, nothing's off limits. Nothing is off limits when it comes to South Park, when it comes to comedy, you are not going to like this game and you will probably end up hating it. Even if you like the gameplay, you will hate that aspect, the fact that it does not give a shit who it offends. So I'm saying this right now, if you're not into that style of comedy, you might not want to pick up this game, at least right now. Maybe later down the line you might want to pick up, but right now, do not pick it up, okay? And by the way, if you can buy it, and you are going to buy it, and for me, it's worth it. It definitely gets South Park, the Stick of Truth is worth it. However, I'm going to say this right now. If you're in the EU and you don't want the game to be censored at all, I would recommend that you go with the PC version. The PC version is not graphically intense and it probably could run on most systems right now. You need to double check systems because the PC, the Xbox and PC, PS3 versions are censored sadly because the government's an absolute douchebag. But I would recommend that if you can get it on PC because this PC version is completely uncensored, and that's why I got it. And I just gotta say, I had so much fun with this. I give major respect to Obsidian, and I can't wait to see if there's another South Park game coming out in the future. The way the game ends, it's very much done. It's the end of a South Park episode basically, and it's fantastic for that. I don't know if there's going to be maybe more DLC in the future, which I would be gladly paid for, because DLC would be fantastic. And also maybe even a future game. I hope that there are more South Park games to come. As the Stick of Truth was the start, there's just so much they can do with the gameplay they have, and also moving on. They could do it's South Park. They could do South Park: The Sci-Fi Odyssey as a game, and that would be fantastic. Where this game concentrates on the whole humor of a fantasy genre, I would love it if maybe they went into the different styles of gameplay. Like, this one was fantasy, the next South Park game will be sci-fi, and then the next one will be demonic, supernatural. There's quite a lot you can do, so I just can't think of any. But I definitely would recommend that I would definitely love to see more South Park games being made, and I definitely would highly love it if Obsidian kept making these. I don't think I've got much else to say, other than the fact that I absolutely love this game. It's definitely one of my top picks for one of the best games that came out this year, and it's the best licensed game that's out this year. And I completely respect Obsidian and the creators of this for actually making this game, because it couldn't have been easy. So I give them major props, absolute respect, and oh my fucking god, I love this game. It is so absolutely fantastic. Now the review is going to be over. Now I'm going to do another video talking about censorship after this. I don't know when I'll get it up, but I will try and get it up sooner or later. But I definitely would recommend, if you're on the fence with this game for a while, but you like South Park, I'm going to say this right now: if you can, buy it. Simple as. Like, let's answer the question: is South Park: The Stick of Truth worth it or not? In all honesty, give a minute, things heating up. It is worth it. Hell to the fucking yes. It gets that. It's fucking worth it. If you haven't played it already, go and pick it up already, especially if you're a South Park fan or you like that style of humour. If you're not, stay away from it for the 10-minute fucking barge pole, okay? I'm saying it right now. Other than that, I think I'll end it there. Thank you for watching. As always, I'm Scottish Warren 92. I'll see you all next time on the next Worth It or Not. Ciao for now. Mwah.